Senate Bill number 25 of 2024. The message from the Senate conveys its resolution on the President's memorandum on the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024, passed yesterday, 4th December 2024. The message further conveys that the Senate passed the bill with amendments. Honorable members, to give a background on this matter, you will recall that the President's memorandum was informed by the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024, which resulted in a revenue shortfall of approximately 346 billion, which had been shared between the national and the county governments. To this end, and in respect of the revenue shortfall to be borne by the county governments, on the 10th of July 2024, His Excellency the President referred back the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024 to the Senate for consideration, pursuant to Article 115 of the Constitution. The President's memorandum proposed that the equitable share of revenue of the financial year 2024-2025 be reduced by 20 billion, from 400 billion as allocated by the Division of Revenue Act 2024 to 320 billion. Members who are standing at the entrance, you may take the nearest seats. Honorable members who are standing at the entrance, kindly take the nearest seats. Honorable Farah Maalim, please take the nearest seat. I'll proceed. However, honorable members are aware, last week both houses approved the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2024 that allocated Kenya shillings 387 billion as the equitable share of revenue for the financial year 2024-2025. The bill was subsequently ascended to yesterday, 4th December 2024, by His Excellency the President. Honorable members, with this background, I wish to guide the House on the manner of consideration of the President's memorandum. Article 115 of the Constitution, as read with Standing Order 154, provides for the manner of consideration of the President's memorandum. Article 115 provides that the Assembly shall either pass a bill with amendments that fully accommodate the President's reservations or with amendments that do not fully accommodate the President's reservations. Where the House passes a bill with amendments that fully accommodate the President's reservations, the amendment must be supported by a simple majority of the members in the House present and voting in accordance with Article 1221 of the Constitution. This implies a majority of the members in the House present and voting. However, where the House passes a bill without fully accommodating the President's reservations, the amendment must be supported by a vote supported by 2/3 of all members of this House. Honorable members, with the foregoing in mind, with respect to the President's memorandum, the House must be cognizant that ascending
and financial statement of the Privatization Commission for the financial year ended 30th June 2023. Number C, the fourth annual report for the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner for the financial year 2023-2024. D, report of the first quarter of the county government's budget implementation review for the financial year 2024-2025 from the Office of the Controller of Budget. E, reports of the Auditor General and financial statement for the years ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein in respect of, number 1, Resilient Sustainable System for Health, RSSH, Ken TNT 2067, Subrecipient Ministry of Health. Number 2, African Climate Summit, ACS, African Climate Week, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Number 3, Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project, credit number IDA 58120, National Industrial Training Authority, NITA. Number 4, Kenya Primary Education Equity in Learning Program, IDA, grant number D991, KE and credit number 7067, KE and grants numbers NOS TFC 306, KE and TFC 306, KE State Department for Basic Education. Five, infrastructure finance and public-private partnership projects, IDA, credit number 5157, KE, the National Treasury. Number 6, Kenya Town's Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation Program, credit number PKE E00011, AFDB, loan number 20020000050, Athi Waters Works Development Agency. Number 7, Women Empowerment for Gender Equality Project, WEGEB-EP, State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action. Number 8, GOK, UNFPA, 10th County Program, grant credit number 10007028818, State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action. Number 9, support of the healthcare financing strategy, reproductive health output, best approach project, credit BMZ, number Kenya 201065853, Ministry of Health. Number 10, Kenya Transport Sector Support Project, credit number 4926 KE and number 5410 KE, Kenya National Highway Authorities. Number 11, Twake Multipurpose Water Development Program, Phase 1, AFDB, loan number 210015002993 2000200003351, AGTF number 50502000000501, and FDB grant number 210015520259973, State Department for Water and Sanitation. Number 12, Sirari Corridor Accessibility and Road Safety Improvement Project, Isibenia Kisii Ahero A1 Road Rehabilitation, Kenya National Highways Authority. Number 13, Kipchorwa, Saum Kitale and Eldoret Bypass Roads Project, Kenya, ID number PZ1 DBO 183, Kenya National Highways Authority. Number 14, East African Center of Excellence for Skills and Tertiary Education in Biomedical Sciences, Phase 1, loan number 2100150031997, Project Ministry of Health. Number 15, Multinational Kenya Tanzania Power Interconnection Project Kenya Component, ADF, loan number 2100150032846, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Number 16, Olkaria Lesos Kisumu Transmission Lines Construction Project, JICA, loan number KEP28, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Number 17, Kenya Development Response to Displacement Impacts, KDRDIB, IDA, credit number 6021 KE, and grant number TFO A7762 KE, Ministry of East African Community, EAC, Assaults and Regional Development. Number 18, 50 megawatt solar power plant in Garissa project, GCL number 2015-10, Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation. Number 19, Safe Roads Usalama Barabarani Program, grant number KEFED 037778, National Transport and Safety Authority. Number 20, Northern Corridor Rehabilitation Program Phase 3, Eldoret, Turbo, Webuye, Malaba, Road Improvement Project, Kenya National Highway Authority. Number 21, Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Project, IDA credit number 4873, KE-AFD CKE 105501J and CEDA TF 018327, State Department for Housing and Urban Development. Number 22, Asian Officers Family Pension Fund, the National Treasury. Number 23, Kenya Towns Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation Program, CR number PKE E0011, AFDB loan number 2000501, Central Rift Valley Waterworks Development Agency. Number 24, Contingencies Fund, the National Treasury. 25, Lake Nakuru Biodiversity Conservation Project Grant number 201567916 and loan number 201665116, KfW German Financial Corporation, Central Rift Valley Waterworks Development Agency. Number 26, Center of Excellence in Sustainable Agriculture and Agribusiness Management, Egerton University. Number 27, NEMA GCF Project Preparation Facility Devolved Climate Change, Governance to Strengthen Resilience of Communities in Target Counties, credit number KENPPF 0100, National Environment Management Authority. Number 28, Strengthening Forest Management for Improved Biodiversity, Conservation and Climate Resilience in South Rangelands of Kenya. IUCN project number AVCH 000981 and GEF ID number 10292, National Environment Authority. Number 29, Kenya Gold Mercury Free ASG.
Yesterday, the Speaker directed that the Chair of Labour gives a full statement or full response to the statement that I raised in this House. And I actually request this House to do exactly that, Madam Speaker, if you may allow.
Thank you very much, we have not reached statements. We have not reached statements. We have reorganized the order paper. So we will get there. When we get there, if there is a problem, you'll be able to raise it.
Madam Speaker, I'm going for a committee meeting, if you may consider that, please.
Honorable Member for Changamwe, you have a lot of experience. You know that this is the first business of the House. The House takes precedence to any other business. So the order paper has been reorganized. Member, the Honorable Wanjala. Honorable Wanjala. What is out of order, Honorable Wanjala? Please pass the mic to him. Go to the mic on your left.
Madam Speaker, after Millie Odhiambo, Honorable Millie Odhiambo, I'm supposed to be the one, Madam Speaker, who is supposed to follow, and you have jumped me.
Are you making reference to the Honorable Millie Odhiambo Mabona?
Yes, Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
The Deputy Minority Leader?
Yes.
So then you have to state properly.
Minority Whip. It is me, Madam Speaker, who is supposed to be called upon to lay the papers. You have jumped me.
Honorable Wanjala, maybe you had stepped out, but you may proceed and lay the paper.
Yes. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 5th December 2024. Reports of the Committee on Implementation on the following. 1. Third report on the implementation status of reports on petition and resolutions passed by the House. And 2. Attendance of the GSMA Mobile World Congress and the 2024 Africa Health Tech Summit in Kigali, Rwanda, from 29th to 31st October 2024. Madam Speaker, I beg also to lay the third report on the implementation status of reports on petition and resolutions passed by this House. I beg to give notice of the following motion.
Honorable
this House adopts.
Honorable Wanjala,
Yes.
you laid the paper. So you end it at that first. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo, please proceed. And for the record, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo is the minority whip.
And for purposes of this head of delegation of the IPU, for purposes of this report, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House notes the report of the 149th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings held in Geneva, Switzerland, from 13th to 17th of October 2024, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, the 5th of December 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Wanjala, you may now proceed and give the notice of motion.
This is the third report on the implementation status of reports on petition and resolutions passed by the House. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the third report of the Select Committee on implementation status of reports on petitions and resolutions passed by the House, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 5th December 2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanjala. Next order as per the reorganized order paper.
Order number 8, procedural motion, reduction of the publication period of a specified bill.
Honorable Dr. Nyikal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Chair of the Departmental Committee on Health, I need to move that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 120C, this House resolved to reduce the publication period of the Kenya Institute of Primate Research Bill, National Assembly Bill number 52 of 2022 from 14 days to 9 days. Madam Speaker, this is important because this is actually a very important bill dealing with the Primate Research Institute, which is actually doing a lot of work on primate research, including even on vaccines, and it has been working without structures that need to put it in place. And also, Madam Speaker, on the need that we are all agreed that we should fast track some of these bills, it been found necessary that we reduce the publication period so that even when we are in recess, the committee can actually start work on public participation and even do the research work over that period. Therefore, I request the House to support this so that we can move the publication and start this process going on. Madam Speaker, with that I ask Honorable Dr. Ron to second.
What are you seconding?
You didn't even. Did you move? Did you move the Honorable Nyikal?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I beg to move and ask Honorable Oron to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second the motion.
Honorable members, I propose the question that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 121C, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Kenya Institute of Primates Research Bill, National Assembly Bill number 52 of 2024, from 14 days to 9 days. Can I say something? Yes? Chair, can I say something? Honorable Mother Wangari.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know we want to put the question, but I want to support the committee on this specific bill and reduction of publication period, because, Madam Speaker, some of us who have areas where we have monkeys that are a menace to the community. I know I have an area called Gong, I have an area called Ekatano, where farmers cannot farm because of monkeys. And Madam Speaker, if you go to the Kenya Wildlife Services, you're sent to this institute, which has no structures or money to actually move the monkeys to take them back to the forest, Madam Speaker. So it is quite something, and I know it may look like a small thing, but monkeys can be a menace, especially to women. Actually, they actually take food from the jikos when they are cooking, and actually tell them, or even unhang clothes, Madam Speaker. So these monkeys, Madam Speaker, the only way to deal with them is to equip and actually facilitate this research institute to be able to deal with them. So I support the committee, Madam Speaker, and I hope that we can get that on the floor as soon as possible.
The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to support that motion. And part of the reason that I support is for the reason that Honorable Martha has stated, that we need to deal with monkeys. I stay next to the river, and many times I get visits, sometimes when I'm alone. And I think we have not trained monkeys on gender issues. They really have no regard, especially for women. If my husband comes, they run away, but when it is me, they don't care. So maybe we'd have to find ways of dealing with the monkeys. But Madam Speaker, one of the things I want to say, because this is a short motion, I don't want to say much. I want to congratulate the Health Committee for the way they are organized and orderly. Madam Speaker, I can see when the chair of the committee is not in, and the deputy chair of the committee is not in, you have Honorable Nyikal, who is an excellent medic, moving that motion so that the committee can expedite. And you have Honorable Ron, a member of the committee there, ready to second the bill. Madam Speaker, the only challenge is when it comes to my bill. Then suddenly, the chair is not there, the deputy is not there, Honorable Nyikal is suddenly totally unable to move the bill. Madam Speaker, I want to encourage, I've been in this house for long. I know when we are filibustering, please. I know when we are filibustering. Please don't filibuster on my bill. I've actually encouraged my brother Kaluma, and I will speak to it when you come to my bill, that we look at the Constitution, 2024, Article 24 of the Constitution. We can borrow wording of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, which says, Clause 4 of 24, that the provisions of this chapter on equality shall be qualified to the extent strictly necessary for the application of Muslim law before the Qadi's court to persons who profess the Muslim religion in matters relating to personal status, marriage, divorce, and inheritance. We can actually use similar wording, export it to my bill, and let my bill pass. Madam Speaker, we are the women. I'm the one who does not give birth and would want to give birth. Honorable members who are delaying are going to make me have a child at 60, when I should have had a child at 40, Madam Speaker. Don't harass me. I need to have a child, and I need to have a child now, and I need a law to enable me to have a child. And all women who don't have children, stop filibustering on my bill.
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, I know this matter is very close to you, and I would like to confirm that I have worked with the Honorable Dr. Pukose. I was his chair in the 11th Parliament. He is a very effective chair, and as you have said, you can see that the committee is organized, and I am also aware that that bill has taken long, but honorable members, I would like to ask that we do not debate on this. This is just a procedural motion, and I would like you to allow me to put the question on this matter. Honorable Kaluma, you are the only one I'll give a chance. What is out of order?
Yeah, Chair, Honorable Millie Odhiambo has mentioned me in a statement which was way out of the motion that was before you. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I don't know why you didn't declare irrelevant, because the motion is a procedural motion. She's bringing issues about her bill, contemplating even debate on that issue. May I confirm, because I've been mentioned, Honorable Chair, that I'm before the House ready. In fact, the only business that keeps me here is to transact the bill, the Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill. And Honorable Chair, let me confirm to you, and this I'm saying for the House, when you propose a bill and you bring it to the House, make it easy for colleagues in the House, members of Parliament, to help you transact it. Chair, you remember this
with
bill?
All due respect, Honorable Kaluma, you also want to go now to the debate on the assisted...
No, I'm not debating. I'm just saying that Honorable Millie has accused some members of the House of filibustering or delaying a bill. And what I'm confirming is that it is Honorable Millie making it difficult for us to transact this bill. This bill had been sent for harmonization. She ran from there. She wants to proceed before a report is here. And now she's blaming everybody, yet she's the one pushing without, adhering to the procedure set by the House for a quick and expeditious way of treating this bill. Let us agree that this bill can be transacted, and Honorable Millie, be ready. We want to proceed so long as the people proposing amendments are there. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I will avoid going to the matter of the bill that the Honorable Millie Odhiambo is raising. And now I'll go ahead and put the question on order number 8. I now put the question, honorable members, that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 121C, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Kenya Institute of Primate Research Bill, National Assembly Bill number 52 of 2024, from 14 days to 9 days. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I put the question that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives on the inquiry into alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya, laid on the table of this House on Thursday, 7th of March, 2024. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, consideration of reports on financial statements of state corporations, Nyanza region. Question to be put.
You may take your seats. This is slightly long. Honorable Ruto, please take the nearest seat. Kenya shilling 308,996 bills are charged to the Governing Council of Kisumu National Polytechnic. The amount is to be the House. B, deletion of paragraph 216 appearing on page 41 of the report and substituting therefore the following new paragraph. The committee recommends that the long outstanding interest of Kenya shillings 37,800 be written off from the institution's books of account since no money was lost. It was as a result of demise of the employee. And C, effecting the consequential amendments in the report. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 11, the Kenya Institute of Primate Research Bill, National Assembly Bill number 52 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to make provisions for the establishment, powers, and functions of the Kenya Institute of Primate Research, to provide for the conduct of research using non-human primates and other experimental animals for improvement of human health in Kenya and for connected purposes. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Next order. We go back to 7. Are we going back? Honorable members, as per the reorganization that we did earlier, now we are going back to 7. Order number 7. Questions and statements. The Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to give a statement regarding the regulations of Starlink satellite internet services in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Communication, Information, and Innovation regarding the regulation of Starlink satellite internet services in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, satellite internet, which is powered by satellites in space, plays an important role in global connectivity by transmitting signals through a satellite dish installed in a user's premises. In June 2023, Starlink, a subsidiary of SpaceX, launched its services in Kenya as a satellite internet provider, SIP, offering competitively priced internet packages and speed. The Starlink project, which aims to provide global satellite internet coverage, enables unrestricted access to internet that overpass territorial regulatory frameworks, national security. The unlimited access to the broadband services could also jeopardize the protection of data for the users. Clear policy and regulatory guidelines from the Communications Authority regarding the requirements and licensing of satellite internet providers has caused anxiety. It is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on the following: a report on the regulatory regime under which Starlink is offering satellite internet services in the licenses issued by the government, if any. 2, the safeguards put in place to ensure that the Starlink does not breach privacy and data protection rights for subscribers as provided for in Article 31 of the Constitution and the provisions of the Data Protection Act, Cap 411C. The measures put in place to integrate Starlink satellite internet services with local service providers, notably Safaricom, Airtel, and Telcom, and to protect local internet providers from unfair competition likely to rise from Starlink's predatory pricing model and global competitive advantage. And lastly, the modalities for Starlink to remit applicable services taxes to the government. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Beatrice Elachi. Honorable members, ICT in the House. Honorable KJ, Vice Chair or a member of that committee. I can see the Honorable KJ walking in.
Okay.
So when will you be able to respond to this statement?
Madam Speaker, we are going to process the statement immediately. However, we would only be reporting to the House when we come back from recess, and next week after recess.
So first week after recess, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, the first week after recess. Thank you very much. The Honorable Lilian Sioi, MP. Proceed with your
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
statement.
I stand to request for a statement regarding mysterious disappearance of 2 Kenyans living in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairman Committee. Speaker, on or around 12th August 2024, a Kenyan, Ms. Teresia Wanya Musangi, caused the family anguish, noting that she had been missing for 3 months and was in good health prior to that. According to the family, additionally, Ms. Diana Marita Boyo of ID number 38318071 remains of Ms. Teresia Wanya Musangi, including providing relief measures to the family. 3, efforts being made to ensure that Ms. Diana Marita Boyo rest and reunited with her family. And 4, measures being put in place to address the frequent disappearance of Kenyans in the diaspora. And lastly, a report on a long-term strategies being put in place to streamline recruitment of Kenyan abroad in order to enhance accountability and recruitment agencies and employers on the welfare of Kenyan recruited overseas jobs. Thank you here in Kenya. So I would wish that before closure of the House so that we get to know what we are going to do. Kindly.
Well, before we come to you on behalf of the chairman, I would like to give us chance to the member for Taveta. Honorable Haika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, on the same issue of many Kenyans who are disappearing in diaspora, we have so many other cases in the regard of the same issue of Kenyans that, who have died and some went missing. And Madam Speaker, if we can have, requesting as a chair of Diaspora Committee, if we can have a joint sitting with and so that we can discuss these matters and iron these things jointly and see how we can come up with solution regarding the issue are in trouble and some of them who have even lost their lives in diaspora, Madam Speaker. So, thank you. And I think we can also involve the Committee on Labor on the same issue. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Cynthia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to add my voice to the statement that has been sought by the Honorable Lilian Sioi. Honorable Speaker, I want to support the Chair, Diaspora Affairs, in her comment that we should be able to have a joint committee, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are so many issues that are affecting the people who go to Lebanon, who go to Saudi Arabia. Some of them, Honorable Speaker, cannot be traced by their families. Some of them, Honorable Speaker, are sick and they cannot access health care. And some of them, Honorable Speaker, they are in dire situations. There are people and women who left this country to work in those countries, Honorable Speaker, and right now, somehow along the way, they got children. Their children, Honorable Speaker, are stateless as we speak. We have 12-year-old children, we have 5-year-old children, 6-year-old children who are living in those countries, and they cannot access basic education, they cannot access health care because they are stateless. Honorable Speaker, they are also not able to be processed for deportation. Why? Because they don't have those documents, Honorable Speaker. And I wonder, Honorable Speaker, how is someone who does not have documents...
Honorable members, you just make comments on this one. Eh? Do not debate. I know it's a matter that calls for debate. But just make your comments and in a minute.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, so that, well, I have another... It is now real and an non-existent issues. Since I came to this parliament, it's more than 15 years ago. Every year, there's a question that is being raised about women and their children who are suffering in those countries. Madam Speaker, it behoves us as a house to take, yes, even men. Actually, my research found even our men were suffering in those countries. Madam Speaker, as a house, we are the ones who are failing this country by not taking very firm action and making sure that we provide a framework to ensure, and that's why we even created a diaspora. Madam Speaker, we need to bring our people who are suffering back. And even if it means communicating with those having bilateral communication.
Speaker, once again, is just to respond to a few things that have been said. I want to inform Honorable Millie what the Diaspora Committee is doing, that we are coming up with a bill.
Honorable Millie, do you want to be informed by the Honorable Aika? Make it short.
Thank you. We are coming with a diaspora and migration bill that is on the pipeline. We've been working on it. We have been consulting. So you can also help us by when the time is right. That does not stop us from sitting on the issues of that we are discussing about the loss of lives with the women. The bill is coming, yes, but there are these things which are pending, and yes, they need to be worked on.
Thank you very much. I'll give a chance now to Honorable Martha Wangari, bearing in mind the urgent matter that has been raised by the member and the fact that this House will not be sitting in another 2 months. So what solution can you offer?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I also want to agree with my colleagues that the matters raised are very weighty and very urgent. I know just that last week we had a question from Honorable Agnes Pareyo, also directed to the committee. But Madam Speaker, you also must consider that we have answer that the committee endeavors to reach out to the ministry, first of all, on this specific issue, and reach out to the member in person, the chair to reach out to the member in person to help the family. And I know I have seen it happen even in other situations, including a person from my constituency. So if that is sorted out, then the other comprehensive issues will be done in another sitting. And Madam Speaker, I agree on the joint sittings with the Diaspora Committee. We have many shared and overlapping issues, and I think it would be beneficial for both of our committees and to the House to have a joint sitting. That should not be a problem, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sio, is that agreeable to you?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. So even after passing the response to the Honorable Lilian Sioi, when the House resumes, you will still table the response for the purpose of the House and the country. The Honorable Member for Tarbaj, Honorable Hussein Abdi Bare.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a of reliable internet and telephone connectivity. This persistent digital gap denies data communication as well as vital government services that increasingly depend on internet-based platforms. The digital exclusion hinders the marginalized region from catching up with the advantaged regions of the country. Honorable Speaker, it is with this in mind.
Very much. Honorable Charles Nguna, what is out of order? Very much. Honorable Charles Nguna, what is out of order?
Chair, there is nothing out of order, but Chair, I just want to add my sentiments on his statement, Chair. Chair, if you travel in some parts of the country, in this country, you will realize some parts even they don't have existing network completely. To make sure each and every village in this country is properly and adequately connected by Safaricom, Mr. Chair, and other ICT providers, Madam Chair. So I just want to reinforce that. Don't only investigate Wajir, do countrywide to ensure Kenyans have got Wajir, do countrywide to ensure Kenyans have got right to access to proper communication.
No, there is nothing out of order, honorable members. Out of order, honorable members. And in the interest of time, when looking at the order paper, we have very serious business ahead. What is out of order? Honorable Murungara.
Thank you. We have a very, very serious order paper this morning. We are sometimes extending a little bit of our joy to where it should not be extended. Madam Speaker, I request you kindly.
Point taken.
Yes, so that
Take
we
your
move and do.
seat. Take your seat. Honorable KJ.
Thank you, and it is a very important issue that has been raised, and even the additional information that we are getting from the Honorable CNN. We shall also engage the telcos, and we would request, Madam Speaker, that this committee be accorded time up to the 28th of January to make this response, so that we can understand what the problem is with the connectivity, especially bearing the fact that this country reserves some money in the form of Universal Service Fund, which should be covering such uncovered areas. So, Madam Speaker,
please give us the timelines when you are going to respond to this statement.
As I had said, we are requesting for time up to the 28th of January so that we come.
Is that agreeable? Yes, thank you. Honorable members, I'll give a chance to the Honorable Yusuf Farah. Your request for statement, very quickly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to request for statement regarding compensation of victims of the Wagala massacre. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, Sub 2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental of Victims of Wagala massacre. Honorable Speaker, the Wagala massacre, which occurred on 10th February 1984, was a dark chapter in the history of our country. More than 5,000 people lost their lives after the establishment of an implementation committee to execute the recommendation. Although the fourth president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, publicly apologized for the atrocities during the 2015 State of the Nation address, to date, none of the victims and their families have been compensated loved ones. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on the following. Number one, a report on the status of implementation of the recommendation by the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, specifically regarding recommendations on victims of the Wagala massacre. Number two, reasons for the inordinate delay in compensating the families and victims of Wagala massacre. And number three, measures being put in place to provide support to the survivors, including providing psychological support and other rehabilitation programs. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Member for the Raka and Chair.
Okay, sit down. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We promise to do this as soon as we resume. As regards exactly how far it has been ascertained who is supposed to benefit, and that if there are any provisions made as regards compensation for those victims. It was a very sad incident that occurred at that unfortunate time, but we will be giving a detailed statement as regards exactly what the position is as of today.
Thank you, Chair. That's agreeable.
Madam Speaker, this issue has been here for long, and it's a very sad situation. The government has promised this issue so many times. Now what I'm requesting from the committee, through you, is they call the relevant agencies and invite me in that meeting to conclude this matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You agree with the timelines that he has given? Okay.
Not to sit during the recess period.
Well, Chair?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, yes, we may have time to sit because there's a room after the vacation when the committees will be sitting, but we don't know whether we will be having a response by Thursday.
kick the can down the road, the more this thing will fester. I request that as Honorable this thing will fester. I request that as Honorable Yusuf has requested, that the committee, or which I am a member of also, call these relevant agencies and invite the member, thrash out those issues, and then after that bring the response to the House, instead of just waiting for us to get a very canned answer which says nothing, which a lot of members have always been saying that agencies and ministries give us very funny answers. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Dawood.
Agencies and ministries give us
Thank
very
you,
funny
Honorable
answers.
Dawood.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Dawood. Honorable members, this House has faith in the leadership of the Honorable Murungara, and I would like to assure you that this will be done very well. Let us not prescribe to the committee who they are going to invite, and the committee will also seek possibilities of sitting during, if it is possible. But the first week, as the chair has indicated, and every other issue that has been said will be taken into consideration. Honorable members, we have response to questions. And in the interest of time, honorable members, I would like to encourage that you summarize. Looking at the order paper, you can see the business ahead. So we are going to start with the administration and internal security. I can see the chair is seated, waiting to respond to the question by the Honorable Bernard Kitur.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And in response to the statement sought by the Member of Parliament for Nandi Hill, Bernard Kitur, I want to respond as follows. And okay, specifically, he wanted to know the status of investigation relating to the kidnapping and the torture of Mr. Pasgalis Kosgei. And he also wanted to know the step taken by the government to stop abduction and enforce disappearance. And lastly, he wanted also to know when will the ministry, the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance for ratification. Honorable Speaker, the chairman of border operators in Nandi Hill, Mr. Pasagalis Kosgei, reported that on 15 July 2024, at around midday, he joined local community members together with a member of parliament to a peaceful demonstration around the town before proceeding to the Nandi tea factory. Later, same day, at around 2 p.m., he went to Embassy Hotel, situated at the Nandi Hill. From there, he received a phone call from former SCCCIO, Nandi East, one Chief Inspector, Rahmad Wasialwa, who inquired from him about his whereabouts and whether he was among the people who had participated in the demonstration. The victims and the abductors, who were armed with pistols, unsuccessfully attempted to force him into their car. He managed to escape from the abductors and reported the matter to the Nandi police station via OB number 341507 of 2024. And he further claimed that after he left the police station, on the same date, on his way home, he was again kidnapped. He stated that he was kept by the abductors in their saloon car and all through. However, one of the abductors who spoke in Kalenjin language convinced the rest to spare him. They, however, tortured him, and before abandoning him beside the tarmac road between Mogowet and Nandi Hill Junction, and he was found by Daniel Kemboi and his brother Henry while unconscious. And he informed the investigating officer that the abductors stole some items from him, to include some cash, a debit card, NHF card, and a telephone phone. The victim stated that the kidnappers accused him of assisting the Honorable Member of Parliament, that is Bernard Kitur, to convene the said meeting, and championing for the Koitalel Samuel University, and also talking ill of the Eastern Produce Kenya Limited, the tea company, During the episode, the victim stated that he was held in abductor's car. The police officers under command of the IP Caroline Ndema, the SCCIO, and Nandi Hill to establish the identity of the abductors with a view to prefer criminal charges against them. He, however, informed that he could not identify the abductors, and the Speaker, the government had employed the following measures, like to address abduction. All reported cases are investigated. Of course, the surveillance and the patrols and the sensitization of the public to encourage to report any suspicious activities. Honorable Speaker, on the last question, the object and the purpose of the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance is to prevent enforced disappearance. It entered into the force on 23rd December 2007, and Kenya signed it on 6th February 2007, but it has not been ratified. Treaty ratification process is guided by the provision of Treaty Making and Ratification Act number 45 of 2012. Under Section 4A of the Act, the National Executive is responsible for initiating treaty-making process, negotiation, and ratification. This responsibility may be delegated to a relevant state department. Under Section 7 of the Act, where the government intends to ratify a treaty, the Cabinet Secretary of the relevant state department shall, in consultation with the Attorney General, submit to the Cabinet the relevant treaty together with the memorandum. As far as this treaty is concerned, the relevant ministries or state department are still consulting on which ministry or state department is to take the lead in the process. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Bernard Kitur, member for Nandi Hills.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the chairman for administration for the response. However, in the first instance, I would have expected, first of all, an apology for taking too long, so that we take serious parliamentary promises, or when you pledge that we are going to present such a statement at such time as this, we'll be serious about it. Nonetheless, apart from the entire analogy of the events of what happened in the abduction of Pascalis, the only thing I had at the end was investigation is still on. It is not true that there is any investigation going on, because Pascalis came to me asking us if he had been going to the police station over and again. And since there was nothing that was happening, that is why we came to Parliament to try and get this Chief Inspector Wasilwa, who was, who was transferred from Nandi Hills. He had been there for a long time. He knows the many bad things he did in Nandi Hills. When we came into the power, he was transferred to Kitui. But when this matter happened, he appeared from nowhere, because Eastern Produce of Kenya had been using police administration sometimes to frustrate the locals of Nandi Hills. And so when this happened on this day we were doing a demonstration, abduction is something that pains. It is demeaning. I went and I saw Pascalis when he had been thoroughly beaten in the hospital. And I still want to ask, Madam Speaker, that I am not satisfied with the statement. I still need to hear today that who has been arrested? No one. Have any perpetrator been called? Has even Pascalis himself been called? No one. The people who are mentioned, no one has been called.
So now what you're saying is that the answer is not satisfactory.
It is not satisfactory.
Now you need to ask specific questions to the chair. What is not satisfactory to you?
Chair, I would like to find out, why haven't the people who are mentioned been called to even write a statement? All of them, none has been called. Why has that not happened? Even Eastern Produce themselves, the security officers who are mentioned, why have they not been called even to do a statement? And finally, the aspect that also I made, Madam Speaker, on what is the government doing regarding the issue of adoption of the treaty of for the abductions. And you had mentioned, I think if I captured you well, Chairman, you said that it is a process that is happening and we do not know which department is involved in your final part of the statement. I think you need to be very clear, because I'm sure it's the government's agenda that nobody should be abducted in any way, or a person should not just disappear from nowhere, the citizens of this country. So I think those two, you need to be clear, when will that come to this House for ratification? And of course, the issue of the people that I mentioned that have not been called to even do a statement to show the seriousness, other than the normal cliche of saying that
which, of course, from the report he said to had conducted the victim, which, Honorable Speaker, if it is true, I also agree that nobody is above the law. The same officer need also to have written the statement, at least to have recorded what he knows, so that it can able also to form part of the inquiry. But I should also encourage the honorable member that investigation are a little bit complex. Even criminals, they are, you know, criminals are also smart, and they at times even cover their tracks. So it's a situation that we should just learn also to be patient, and I trust that in due course, the perpetrators of this will be brought to books. And I think on the issue of ratification of the treaty, the statement is also very express that the consultation is ongoing. It is
Honorable Kenan.
Madam Speaker, there is nothing that is out of order. But when I have heard the word abduction and disappearances, Madam Speaker, the framers heard the word abduction and disappearances. Madam Speaker, the framers and the great men and women who fought for the making of this important nation state called Kenya have never imagined at any one moment that under this generous constitution, and I want the chairman to hear this, Mheshimiwa Ngeno, I know he's your neighbor, we have never imagined a time will come when adherence to the rule of law and constitutional order will be put aside, and criminal elements in the name of anything will just abduct people, will make sure individuals disappear, and then on the face of it you are told, we are not aware, we are investigating, we have opened an inquiry file. I think, Mr. Chairman and members, what we need to, the only thing that separates us, that separates adherence to the rule of law, is when everybody understands there is a boundary, there is a limitation to what can do, whether you are the security apparatus, whether you are a criminal element or not. As it is right now, and Madam, I'll ask you, an elected leader from Wajir has been missing since 13th September. The trails and the footprints have all shown that he's being held by our security apparatus. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody has been brought to court as a criminal element involved. The police and all other criminal agencies are not saying this is what has happened. So there can only be two assumptions, Madam Speaker. And this is where we need to protect our country. There can only be two assumptions. If there are criminal elements hell-bent on engaging these criminal activities, whose duty is it to protect Kenyans against from this criminal? It is the duty of the security agencies. If the security agencies are involved, then they are also duty-bound to adhere to the rule of law and take individuals suspected to have committed crime to court. Both are not happening, Madam Speaker.
Thank
and
you.
therefore I want to ask
Kenan,
the chairman.
I think you've made your
my
point.
My conclusion is this. Under our good friend, and I know, I understand the intrigues, and I really empathize with you because I know what you have been asked to convey, and having been a former chair, is the 10th rate, not even first, second, third, fourth, fifth report. What they give you is the 10th in terms of order of importance. Even there, I want you to put your foot down and say, look, you are a very important leader. Gabriel is not the making of anyone. Look, in fact, you are not in the list of those I call test tube politicians. You are self-made politicians. Some of the answers that don't deserve to be brought to this house, don't accept, throw them out of the window. Demand for a proper answer that befits your stature and the stature of this house. And that is what the Honorable is asking for. So will I be right to ask the chairman, that MCA, that answer that you gave, which was still flying, is still somewhere. That MCA is yet to be brought to court. Honorable Yusuf Hussein is yet to be brought to court. We want to closure to that. Nobody is talking about it. And yet he's a leader. If it can happen to an elected leader, a state officer, tomorrow they will do it to you. And we'll be told it's criminal elements. Please go back to those people and tell them we demand a plausible, reasonable answer to some of these questions that we raised. giving us that it is abductions. This doesn't make sense.
Honorable
Madam
Kenan,
Speaker.
you've made your point, and now, Honorable Kitur, you have 1 minute, and we have 1 minute for the chair.
Thank you very much. And I think our senior Honorable Member of Parliament for Elders, Kenan, has put it as I would have actually wanted it to be. That this open-ended statement that we'll just do investigation, you will never understand it until you are involved in it. When an abduction is done in Nandi Hills, leave alone even now on the other side of where we could talk about insecurity issues, in Nandi Hills, and here I request for a statement. People have gone, they've written the names of people who are involved. None has been called. And then we have this thing of the file has just been opened. I don't think it is the way it should be. Lastly, on the issue of the ratification of this statement, I would have expected Chair to say, maybe in 6 months, this will have been done, brought into Parliament, so that we show the seriousness that we don't accept an aspect of, abductions. So on this, Madam Speaker, I still feel that, yes, the file may be open, but I want the proactiveness of the security apparatus to go back and call all those people who are mentioned to do the statement.
Thank you. Clearly, he is not satisfied by the answer, and I would like you to tell the House when you are going to give the Honorable Kitur a more comprehensive answer.
Honorable Speaker, I'm hopeful that probably by the time we come back even from recess, there will be much progress made on the inquiry, and we'll be able to respond appropriately.
Thank you. When we are back from recess. The Honorable Chair, Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation, I would like to ask that this be summarized. Honorable members, I will not encourage debate on the matter that we have already closed.
The Honorable Speaker, I've seen the Honorable...
Oh, is the Honorable Gozirai in the House? Yes, yes. Proceed. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Gozirai is lucky because I checked his seat some few minutes ago and he was not there. I know that I should just table the answer. But now that he's in, Madam Speaker, I have a response about...
But please summarize.
Yes. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Gozirai rose to ask a question about Makameni Dam, and I want to state the following. The Honorable Speaker, Makameni Dam project is located in west of Makameni Shopping Center in Kwale County, and the project is funded by the national government and implemented through the Coast to Water Works Development Agency. The project aims to improve the access of water for more than 400 residents in Makameni, Kinangoni, Matumbi, Mtaa, Mabesheni, Bofu, Kapondongo, Mnyenzeni, and Mwabila sub-locations. And the Honorable Speaker, the scope of Makameni Dam includes the construction of a 12-meter high Hardfield Dam and at a crest of 766 meters and a width of 6 meters, which will create a reservoir of a capacity to harvest and store a 4.2 million cubic meters of water. The project includes the treatment plant with a capacity of 2.8 cubic meters per day. That is 2,800 cubic meters per day, Honorable Speaker, with 3 water kiosks to complement the distribution lines. The contract for the design and the construction of Makameni Dam, Phase 1 was awarded with a contract of a sum of 1.3 billion Kenya shillings and commenced on 3rd November 2020, Madam Speaker. Following the signing of the contract on 6 October 2020, the works originally, which was scheduled for completion in 36 months, that is from 2nd of November 2023. However, the approved extension of time added 4 months, revising the completion date to 3rd of March 2024. A further 10 months extension has been requested due to the land compensation disputes, potentially extending the completion date to 28 December 2024 and increasing the contract period to 50 months, subject to the resolution of land issues. Despite the challenges, the project faces a physical progress of Phase 1 is currently at 70%. The progress was however, altered as a result of land disputes arising from the communities around the project. Honorable Speaker, I wish to bring the attention of the House the significant challenges in Makameni Dam is land issues. And the Honorable Speaker, originally the land earmarked for the project was a ranch, but the ownership transitioned over time, creating a dispute with the local community. On 20th February 2024, the community partially altered the construction activities when the project has achieved 63% physical completion rate. And despite these challenges, Madam Speaker, the contractor managed to push the progress to 70% before the complete cessation of works was enforced by the community. This stoppage, Madam Speaker, has led to the multiple notices and claims by the contractor for idle equipment, the staff cost, and also the price adjustment, and the potential loss of profit. If work does not consume promptly, the costs associated with these claims are expected to escalate further, adding to the project's financial strains. In addition, Honorable Speaker, the inadequate budgetary allocation and disbursement have significantly impacted on the project. For instance, in the financial year 2023-24, while Kenya shillings 100 million was allocated to the project, only 25 million was disbursed. There was no budget allocation made for 2024-2025 financial year. And to complete the project, an estimated 550 million is urgently required. The measures which has been put in place, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Water and Sanitation and Irrigation has actively addressed the challenges facing the Makameni Dam as follows. Number one, to secure the adequate funding, the ministry is working closely with the National Treasury, also with the relevant committee, which is my committee, to reinstate the project budget under the supplementary 2. And to resolve the compensation issues, the Coast Water Development Agencies has prepared a RAP, that is a Resettlement Action Plan. This plan identifies the project affected persons, the PAPs, that is the PAPs, the details, including the compensation for land, crops, and disturbance allowance. The RAP has been submitted to the Land Commission, which has advanced the process by publishing 2 cassette notices, including the intent to acquire the land under number 3660 of 17 March 2023, conducting the public inquiries, that is cassette number 16976 of 8 December 2023, while the final valuations are nearly complete. The Honorable Speaker, to address the grievances, there is a grievances redress committee which was formed by the ministry also, and this committee comprises of representatives from the Coast Water Works Development Agency, the Kwale County Government and the County Commissioner's Office, the member in charge of the lands and the Land Commission Coordinator in the County Land Valuer, and the Managing Director of Kwale Water and Sewerage Company. Furthermore, the Coast Water Works Development Agency is engaging the local communities through the corporate social responsibility initiatives. This includes the constructions of 2 classrooms in Makameni Primary School, which are 50% complete, and supplying of water to Makameni Health Center on request, with over 100,000 liters already delivered. Plans are also in place to build 2 community toilets with locations already identified. Additionally, the access road to Kisingo Dam has been completed, improving the community's ability to access water. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Water and Sanitation has been actively collaborating with the Land Commission in finalizing the evaluations and the inquiry reports. The report provides a basis for compensation of project-affected persons and resolving the land-related challenges. As mentioned earlier, the report has been completed, awaiting the next steps in land acquisition and compensation. The ministry is working closely with the National Treasury also in respective to budgetary allocations. This is to ensure the timely availability of funds necessary for both the compensation and completion of the project.
I know it is very hard to summarize a document that is not yours,
I am
but
done,
please
Honorable
assist the House by summarizing.
Now I am done. In fact, I'm at the last point, Honorable Speaker. that allow me to reinstate that the ministry is determined to complete phase 2 of Makameni Dam and achieve the constitutional rights of water for the communities around the project. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That is a report which is signed by the Cabinet Secretary Water, Engineer Eric Murithi Muka, Cabinet Secretary Water, Sanitation and Irrigation.
Thank you very much, Chairman. What is your position, Honorable Ngozi Rai, member for Kinango?
Madam Speaker,
in a summarized manner.
I will do that. Madam Speaker, the report is good on paper, but very bad on the ground. My question, over 160 families were actually affected by this particular dam on 2021. To date, they have not been settled. My question to the chairman is, when is he going to reach to these affected persons, when he can call a meeting where the coast water, the ministry, and these affected persons, so that at least they can get a timeline when they are going to be compensated for them to look for a better place to stay. Because currently there are rents which are running, and these people have not been provided with tents, and they are just actually living just like that. So if the chairperson can just give an undertaking, I would really appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much for summarizing, Chair. When are you going to address the issue of the PAPs?
Madam Speaker, already, and the Honorable Member is aware, that the Ministry has already constituted a grievances redress committee. And I've said this committee includes, the composition is from the Coast Commissioner Office, the Kwale County Government, and the Land Commission. So already it is ongoing, Madam
When
Speaker.
are you going to complete the issue?
So,
are you able as the chair to deal with this, or it includes a different committee, the National Land Commission, which is in a different department?
No, it is within the purview of the ministry, Honorable Chair, because it is a multi-sectoral issue which involves the Land Commission, the ministry, and the county government. And already that they are in place. What I am going only to do as a chair is to follow up with the ministry so that they can speed up that process.
Or when the House opens, is that a good time?
First week, the first week when we resume.
Thank you very much. Ngozi Rai,
Madam
first
Chair,
week when we are back?
Madam Chair, my problem is that this committee has been there since 2021. What I'm requesting is particularly his committee to give an undertaking and take responsibility, because that committee has been there since 2021 and nothing has actually happened to date. Those persons are actually suffering. So if we can just give an undertaking that he's taking over, I really appreciate it.
Madam Chair, let me undertake that I'm going to lead the committee to visit Makameni Dam by the second week when we resume, Honorable Speaker, and I will invite the Honorable Member so that we can have a meeting actually on the ground.
Thank you very much.
I do appreciate, Madam.
Next, it's yourself again, Honorable Chair, on the matter which was on the response to the statement raised by the Honorable Joseph Manu, and I can see him in the House. Proceed and summarize.
Yes. Madam Speaker, this is the issue of Kalawase River flood in Turkana County. And Madam Speaker, I wish to say the following, that the National Water Harvesting Authority has been carrying out this flood control in Kalawase River. And the objective is to divert a river from its original course by excavating about 100 meters wide diversion channel and blocking the old course using the gabions. And this was done at a section in Kalawase River to protect the destructive flows of the river to Napatet village in the surrounding areas. The Honorable Speaker, the gabions started at a place called the Soweto site, and there was an allocation of about 250 million, which was allocated to this project, Honorable Speaker, but due to inadequate budget and allocation also, these monies, they were not able to be dispersed all at once. And in the financial year 2021, Honorable Speaker, there was about only 20 million, which was allocated to the authority to undertake the excavation, about 10 by 2 by 800 meter length of Napatet site. And Honorable Speaker, 2021-2022, the project was prioritized, and there was an allocation of about 42 million also to undertake the same. Madam Speaker, in 2022-2023 financial year, the budget was increased to 74 million, which was allocated to these projects, and the works which was undertaken included expansion and diversion of the channel by 30 meters. And currently, Madam Speaker, because of financial challenges, that project, it is still ongoing, Honorable Speaker, and now the last phase of redesigning of the project is ongoing, Honorable Speaker. I share this response to the honorable member, and Madam Speaker, there is need of an additional up to 192 million now to complete the whole of the problem, the flooding problem in that area, Honorable Speaker. I think that's the summary I can say because I had given the honorable member a copy of these answers.
Thank you very much, Chair, for summarizing. The honorable member for Turkana Central, is the answer satisfactory? Are you satisfied with the written response that you have received?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to say from the onset that at least the ministry has been too honest and sincere that this is a project that has continued to fail in its implementation. Honorable Speaker, the works on the ground speaks that nothing has been done, only projects that are done and they get destroyed by the river. Honorable Speaker, I want to mention that this river is right inside Lodwar town. And you know Lodwar town is the headquarters of Turkana County. Number two, Honorable Speaker, I want to mention that people, especially in Napetet village, have lost their property, including their ancestral land. Over 150 persons have been displaced. They are now homeless. They live in some makeshift homes in the adjacent village called Lokaparparai, and they live in tents as we speak. And in Turkana, when we say ancestral land, it is a huge chunk of land. And Madam Speaker, I'm just putting that so that the chair of the committee understands that government may lose the Lodwar airstrip if we are not going to protect this river or this flooding in this river. Madam Speaker, what I'm seeing here is government has lost 138 million so far. That is an allocation of 55.2% of the intended 250 million, meaning we are just wasting resources without seeing something that is tangible. Madam Speaker, the report is, or the response is recommending a redesign, which means in the first place, there was lack of skills in this implementation. What they are all raising here is the issue of funding. But going to the ground, it looks the persons who are implementing this project lack the required skills to implement this project, Madam Chair. Otherwise, I will request if we have a budget that is not faced, as in this case, when they give a small budget, the river comes and destroys the garbage. The small garbage that are raised, and people are displaced. Again, for 3 years, they have been doing this, Madam Speaker. So for me, I will request if the Honorable Chair will be able to visit, together with this committee, to come and look at this project. Madam Speaker, it is very ironical to find that the adjacent area that was done by the Chinese is working, is doing very well. But Soweto...
Please do not over-debate. I think you have done it very well.
Madam Chair, this is very, very, very critical for me as a representative of that area. It is very critical
people are living in IDP area, people are homeless, and it's because these people are being told maybe to implement some given project, but nothing is happening. And for me, I would recommend if government becomes serious on this, and if we can start with the chair, if he can be able to visit to see by himself what has been happening. It is just jokes. And therefore, we will need some seriousness on this matter, Madam Chair. Thank you. Madam Speaker.
Chair, in a minute, how are you going to deal with this serious matter that is being raised by the member for Turkana Central?
It is true, I want to agree with the Honorable Amade that the budget issues is a problem. And Madam Speaker, the Honorable Chair of Budget is here. Our budget is based on projections. Because sometimes when they say we are going to collect this and this allocation, assuming this project was allocated 250, but because of the budgetary issues, they started with 20 million. So, Honorable Chair, I will work with the Honorable Ndindi here to see, because the Crown, Honorable Chair, in that village is a very unique geographical formations where even if you work on certain part of the river, it collapses when there is a heavy rain. And so what is there, I'm going to seek a support from the clerk's office so that we can visit Turkana together with the ministry engineers so that they can see how they can address that challenge. Then the second issue about the budgetary allocation, I'm going to talk with Honorable Ndindi so that we save that village and we save the airstrip of Lodwar.
Thank you very much, Chair. Next order.
Order number 12, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole House to consider the President's reservations to the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2024, by the Majority Leader. Honorable Mili, is it about this bill? We are already in the Committee of the Whole House for this specific one. Honorable Mili, we have two sets. Under order number 12, we are only dealing with the President's reservations. Then we will break it. Then there is another order, number 15, to deal with the person with disabilities bill, to deal with the startup bill, and to deal with the assisted reproductive technology bill. But, you know, Honorable Mili, what I want us to not to confuse, we are doing one order now, just order number 12, on the President's reservation. Anything outside that is really out of place in this one. Yeah.
First schedule.
Honorable members, I propose the question that President's reservations to the first schedule be now approved. Mover.
Madam Chair, I wish to move that the President's reservation to the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, that is Senate Bill number 25 of 2024, be approved. Honorable Chair, just for members so that we can be on the same page with all the members.
Yes.
Members, as you know, we passed the appropriations bill a few months ago, and then we had a supplementary one a month after. We had division of revenue before that, which was 400 billion. After we did the supplementary, it came to 380 billion. And honorable members, as you know, again, last week we passed another division of revenue, now the mediated version of 387 billion. So all we are trying to do, Honorable Chair, is that we need to align these documents to be on the same figure, because CARA should be on the same figure with DORA, which is the division of revenue. And I am sure when we are back here next year, we are going to align the two documents with the Appropriations Act again, or a bill, before it becomes an act, so that we can have a consistent figure of the money that is going into our counties. And therefore, Honorable Chair, that is the reason that we are considering this motion. It has come from the Senate, already aligned, and I'm sure the amendment will be moved thereafter. And therefore, Honorable Chair, I move.
Okay, that is very well. Honorable members, I therefore put the question that the President's reservations to the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Chair, Budget and Appropriations Committee. Hold on. I will propose the question that the President's reservations to the first schedule be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I think this morning there was a very detailed communication from the Speaker in terms of what has happened to this important bill. And what is very interesting is that by the fact that the President has sent it to the Division of Revenue Act now to become an Act of Parliament, and in that Division of Revenue Act, the figure was 387, it automatically means that he has actually changed the figure from 400 to 387, and not the 380 which was indicated in the reservations. So with that clarity, I support, and we should approve it.
Thank you. Honorable Nyakundi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In as much as we support devolution, and we support that the counties should be given money, on the county allocation revenue bill, I don't support it because you know we are living in extraordinary times where money that was supposed to be given to counties was reduced to about 387 billion. Most of these counties, the money that they get, especially on roads, we are not seeing what this money is especially doing. And the county government wanted more money, especially from RMLF, to go to counties. We want to say that the money that is used as RMLF by Kera or Kura or Kena should not go there, because counties have not shown us what exactly they do with their money compared to Kera. And as we know, Kera has competency in terms of engineers and everything else. So I want to support the President's reservation on the county allocation revenue bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Chair has moved the President's reservations, and I would like the Leader of Majority, you have an amendment to the same.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the President's recommendation to the first schedule be deleted and replaced thereof with the following. This has been necessitated by the rejection of Finance Bill as the Chair variably explained. And the initial figure we know is 400 billion, then it was reduced to 300 billion, and then it moved to negotiation between us and the Senate, and now the figure we are debating on is 387 billion that ought to go to the counties, and also we need to give support to Senate that oversights all this money. And mine is just to say that we need to be accountable, and the counties need to be accountable and good stewards of the resources. And with those few remarks, I move. Thank you.
Thank you. That gives life to what Honorable Makali Mulu was talking about. I will first propose the question that the President's reservations be amended as proposed by the Majority Leader. What is out of order, Honorable Mili? Chair, just seeking your guidance from the Chair. When you move an amendment to presidential reservation, isn't there a requisite number that is needed on the floor? Honorable Mili, that was made clear in the Speaker's communication. It actually does not have that threshold. This one does not have that threshold. Honorable Ndidi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and I want to thank the Honorable Naomi Wako for moving that amendment. Honorable Chair, this amendment is only seeking to do this, that the initial amount that we wanted to allocate to the counties as shareable revenue or allocation was 400.1 billion. We amended that to 380 billion in this House. We took it to the Senate, and the Senate proposed again almost the initial figure of 400.1 billion. We mediated, and we came up with a figure of 387 billion. Honorable Chair, what that means is that the current division of revenue has a figure of 387. It was actually signed by the President yesterday. And this figure must align with the CARA that is before us today. And therefore, we are just trying to align that figure. But generally, as I finish, I want to thank all the members who've been with, especially in the earlier process of mediation, and say it very loudly that this House supports devolution in entirety. The issue before us was just about allocation of resources, which are scarce, and we'll be allocating actually more resources to our counties in the county government's additional allocation, which we are now considering in the mediation. And therefore, we are moving forward in terms of support for devolution. The monies of 387, Honorable Chair, is actually 24.4% of the threshold that we should maintain of 15. And therefore, we are 9 points ahead of what is constitutional or the constitutional threshold. I support that amendment, and I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Very well put. Honorable Kawanjiko, your chair has spoken for you.
No. Thank you, Madam Chair. I also want to raise and support whatever the leader of majority has moved. That to some extent we need to agree that we need to move on as a country. And because the money that we are supposed to correct and the amount of money that we have corrected that we were supposed to have corrected from the finance bill, it is actually a shortfall. And since there is an increment of about 387 billion, comparing to what they had received even last year, I think it is high time that we support that amendment, and also call upon our governors, as they are saying, that as far as we want to support devolution, and the majority of the speakers who have spoken before me, they have said, we also need to see the value for money of this amount of money that we are sending to their counties. Issues to do with the roads, issues to do with health, issues to do with the drugs in our public hospitals, that they need to rise to occasion. So that at least, even if we are going to continue allocating more funds, we can be able to see the value for money as far as the devolution is concerned. But as it is, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, there is no difference. The only difference that you can see, even in terms of the law that we are making in the constituency, is what Kera, Kura, and Kenha are doing. But where this money is going, it's something, Madam Speaker, that desired to be seen. Actually, what the devolution was supposed to have achieved. And therefore, I support the motion. Let us give them 387 billion. In case there is an increment of the new finance bill next year, we'll be able to review and move forward. I support, Madam Speaker.
I therefore put the question that the President's reservations to the first schedule be amended as proposed by the majority leader. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that the President's reservations to the first schedule as amended be now approved. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mover.